Global TV News Prime. Nigerians groan over rising transportation. In business, Tinubu empowers Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission to approve public-private partnership project under 20 billion naira without Federal Executive Council approval. On the foreign scene, Israel eyes peace accords with Syria, Lebanon. And in sports, Nigeria qualifies for Beach Volleyball World Championship. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcasts. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has called on residents of the Federal Capital Territory to take care of government infrastructure. The president, who was represented by the Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, made this call while commissioning the Girl Access Road project. Our correspondent, Godwin Sunday, has more.
Speaking at the commissioning, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, emphasized that the access road will not only enhance connectivity to the EFCC Academy, but also contribute to the overall development of the Giri axis, boosting economic activities and reducing travel time for commuters. He reiterated his administration's commitment to improving critical infrastructure that supports national institutions.
These newly constructed access roads are not just infrastructural achievements. They are statements of intent, the intention to open up Giri district and the FCT. They show that under this administration, no community is too small, area too distant, citizen too insignificant to benefit from the dividends of democracy.
While speaking on the impact of the project, the FCT minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, thanked President Bola Tinubu while emphasizing that the access road will not only enhance connectivity to the EFCC Academy, but also contribute to the overall development of the Giri axis.
It, of course, has to be developed like other districts. What we have done is, now having created this access road, we have told the Executive Secretary of FCD and other relevant agencies to start working out details of how we are going to do the roads within the district. And this road has helped us to stop the land grabbing by the university. The university on their own grabbed 11,000 hectares. I said that will not happen.
Officials of the Federal Capital Development Authorities, representatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, well-wishers and stakeholders in the construction sector were present to witness the commissioning of the 3-kilometer access road linking the Bill Clinton interchange on the Airport Expressway, Giri District, Abuja. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television.
The persistent increase in the price of petrol, motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, is taking a toll on Nigerian residents in Abuja as transport costs continue to soar across the country's capital. Commuters, drivers, and small business owners say the high cost of petrol is disrupting daily routines and stretching household budgets to the limit. Kabir Hassan has the details.
The removal of fuel subsidy and the continual rise in petrol prices have had a ripple effect on the cost of transportation across Nigeria. Commuters at major parks and residents says fares have more than doubled, with many now working long distance or cutting down on their daily movements.
Every day petrol going up, and then even food price, and then the problem of this country is petrol. Anytime that petrol go up, everything will go high.
Petrol is the major substance in the economy. Anything that affects petrol affects the cost of living of everybody.
The CNG, they try to help, but you know why they rampart. It is very low price. It's affordable, but the fuel is not affordable like that.
Every day you will see fuel price increment without consultation, without even hearing from masses. Honestly, it's really affecting us.
You see, the cost of Nigeria is fuel. Say they hear me. If the fuel can go down to 500, the cost of Nigeria will reduce.
Please, the government should work on that by reducing the price of fuel.
For many residents of Abuja, the struggle is not just about earning a living. It also borders on the ability to afford getting to work, the market, or even schools. As fuel prices remains high and fares follow suit, the hopes for many Nigerians is a lasting solution that eases the pressure on everyday citizens. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
Governor Hope Uzodinma has sworn in 24 new permanent secretaries in the Imo State Civil Service with a charge to reposition the state's ministries for better service delivery. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe completes this report.
The State of the State Address is an annual constitutional duty of the governor, providing a comprehensive update on governance. This year's address was delivered with a strong focus on infrastructure renewal, economic reform, and inclusive growth. In his address, Governor Uzodinma said the administration has completed the flag-off of several strategic road projects across all senatorial zones, including Rural Access Road, aimed at boosting commerce and agriculture.
From the dualized Owerri-Olu and the Owerri-Okigwe roads to the MCC Toronto-Orata corridor, this administration has shown that government can indeed be responsive to the people's needs.
The governor also highlighted ongoing work on the dredging of Uguta Lake and the Orashi River, a major project aimed at linking Imo to the Atlantic and opening up new opportunities in transport and trade. Beyond physical infrastructure, Governor Uzodinma emphasized youth empowerment through digital training program and agricultural enterprise development, noting that over 3,000 young people have benefited from it since inception.
In other ways, we have repaired the previously moribund pontoon, MV Orash at Oguta Lake, and today, Imo State operates two functional pontoons, MV Orash and MV Obana.
In his remarks, the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Chiko Olembe, commended the governor's leadership and pledged legislative backing to sustain the momentum.
Under your leadership, the energy sector has recorded notable advantages, including the establishment of the Imo State Electricity Regulatory Commission, ORAS.
The highlight of the event was the passing of votes of confidence on Governor Hope Uzodinma and the endorsement of President Bola Tinubu for a second-term bid by the Imo State House of Assembly, with many hailing Governor Uzodinma's developmental efforts as a model of progressive governance.
Everybody has seen it. Our governor has tried tremendously well. Everything is ranging from the hotels, from the roads. We call him road master in our area.
Governor Hope Uzodinma's message today is clear. The groundwork has been laid. Imo is moving forward with a clear result and a bold plan ahead. The administration says the best is yet to come. From Imo State House of Assembly, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has fixed its National Executive Committee meeting for July 24 in Abuja. This was announced by the party's Deputy National Secretary, Festus Fonta, following the National Working Committee meeting held today in Abuja. The NEC meeting is expected to discuss and decide on a date for the elective National Convention, where party leaders will be elected. There is a heightened security presence at Wadata Plaza, the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Abuja, as armed policemen have been deployed ahead of the party's crucial National Executive Committee meeting scheduled for today. The police were being reportedly deployed to prevent the proposed expanded caucus meeting from taking place. However, some staff members of the party were allowed to go into the premises of the secretariat without any resistance from the police. Meanwhile, a staff member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Thomas Ibu, was reportedly manhandled and arrested by police officers at the party's national secretariat in Abuja amidst growing tensions over the scheduled 100th National Executive Committee meeting. Armed police officers were seen surrounding and detaining Ibu, who works in the party's publicity department. Attempts by other PDP staff to intervene were unsuccessful as the officers overpowered them and took Ibu away. Workers under the Federal Capital Territory Administration took to the streets in protest, expressing displeasure over poor welfare conditions and the government's failure to address their long-standing demands. The protesters are calling for the payment of outstanding salaries, implementation of the minimum wage, and stalled promotion, demanding for the immediate action of the FCT minister. They also raised concerns over the ongoing strike by government primary schools, which they say reflects a broader neglect of the public sector. Priscilla Obasi was there for Global Television.
Chanting in unison and holding placards, the FCT workers are gathered here in protest, voicing their frustrations over months of unpaid salaries, delayed promotion, poor welfare, ongoing strike in government-owned primary schools, and the non-implementation of minimum wage they say reflects a larger failure in the system. Global Television is here to listen to the plea of these workers, to understand their plight and know what will come out of this protest. Here's what they have to say.
Enslave us. In fact, we regretted having him as a minister in FCT. When he come, we think it go better. We think things go better. But we never knew the reverse is the case.
It's our health. Even when we go to national health insurance and hospitals, we can't access good drugs to take as staff. Our transport system is not even enough. So we are not happy that we are just there. Our promotion has been there, has been started for over 3 years now. We have not gone for promotion. Our training has stopped all of a sudden. So how do we become more productive and more efficient like other our counterparts in other clients of the world?
We are demanding for our salary to be paid, our salary for 6 months to be paid. We are enforcement squads, Abuja Environmental Protection Board enforcement squads. For the past 6 months, we did not receive any salary from anywhere.
We're protesting against irregular flow of salary in the sense that what you get today, this month, is what you get next month. We don't understand what is happening. You get 100,000 today, tomorrow you get 80,000. We're protesting against such irregularities. We're protesting against our children, primary school pupils, being at home for months. Some of them, we have to organize for them to join the private schools to write their common entrance because September is by the corner.
You've heard directly from the protesters. Their concerns are clear and their demands are urgent. As the demonstration continues, the workers say they will not back down until the government takes concrete steps to attend to their matter. From Global Television, I am Priscilla Obasi.
Styrofoam containers appear to be making a comeback in Lagos, despite the state's government enforcement of a ban on their use and distribution, which began a year ago. The Lagos state government, through its Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, had confiscated styrofoam products found in shops across the state during the initial phase of enforcement. The ban, introduced in January 2024, was part of efforts to curb the environmental damage caused by single-use plastic, including non-biodegradable polystyrene foam, commonly known as styrofoam. The National Health Insurance Authority has sanctioned 49 healthcare facilities and 47 health maintenance organizations in 2024 over violations of its operational guidelines. A statement signed by the authority's acting director of media and public relations, Emmanuel Ononopono, noted that the key issues recorded in the complaint against HCFs were unavailability of medicine, denial of services, out-of-pocket payment for covered services, and non-provision of payment narrations. For the HMOs, it is said that the issues were related to delays or denial of referral authorization codes, delays in settlement of agreed reconciled payment, refusal to monitor quality assurance in facilities. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund has warned students to be cautious of a fake portal with fraudulent messages currently circulating online. This is contained in a statement in Abuja on Monday by the fund's Director of Strategic Communications, Oseyemi Oluwatuyi. Oluwatuyi said the information contained in the online messages was misleading. The Federal High Court in Abuja granted the suspended senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, bail on self-recognitions. Akpoti-Uduaghan was arraigned on a 6-count charge bordering on alleged cybercrime. After the charges were read to her, she pleaded not guilty to all. The governor of Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf, led a delegation to the funeral rites of the late business mogul and elder statesman Aminu Dantata in Medina, Saudi Arabia. A statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Tofa, said high-powered delegation includes the Emir of Kano, Khalifa Muhammadu Sanusi II, Jigawa State Governor Alhaji Umar Namadi, former Jigawa State Governor Ali Saad Birnin Kudu, and other top government officials and dignitaries. Dantata, a renowned philanthropist and industrialist, died in the early hours of Saturday in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, where he had spent his final days. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has confirmed he will contest in 2027 presidential election. Obi noted that he is willing to serve a single 4-year term if elected. He made the declaration while speaking during a live session on X Spaces, where he answered questions from supporters both in Nigeria and abroad. The National Association of Nigerian Students has announced plans to stage a mass protest on Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025, over the continued closure of primary schools in the Federal Capital Territory. The student body described the situation as unacceptable and grave injustice to the Nigerian child. The association had issued a 7-day ultimatum to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to reopen public primary schools in Abuja following the continued closure of schools for over 2 months due to unresolved issues between the FCT administration and the local government education authorities. Tension has gripped communities in Guma local government area of Benue State following a fresh attack by suspected armed headers that claimed the lives of 4 mobile police officers. The coordinated assault, which reportedly started in Asher community, where the attackers fired sporadically, forced residents to flee into nearby bushes for safety. The violence quickly spread towards Otese, a settlement hosting thousands of internally displaced persons. Moving on, details have emerged on how notorious bandit kingpin Kachala Yellow Dambokolo died at the weekend in Zamfara State after an earlier gun battle with Shinkafi volunteer forces in the state. Dambokolo's death is being widely celebrated in Zamfara State and many parts of the northwest state as many locals know him as the most dreaded bandit in the zone, even more dangerous than his cousin Bello Turji, whom they describe as a mere spokesperson. It was reported that Dambokolo and more than 173 bandits were killed after a blistering surprise attack by the volunteer forces. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Tinubu empowers Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission to approve public-private partnership projects under 20 billion naira without Federal Executive Council approval. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now we go to the business news. President Bola Tinubu has approved a new policy authorizing the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, to independently approve public-private partnership projects below 20 billion naira, removing the need for Federal Executive Council clearance in such cases. Under the directive, ministries can now apply and approve PPPs under 20 billion, while agencies and parastatals can handle those below 10 billion naira. The policy is designed to fast-track project delivery and attract more private investment into infrastructure. Nigeria's promissory notes fell by 15.6% quarter-on-quarter between December 2024 and March 2025, according to the Debt Management Office, DMO. DMO says the notes fell from 1.542 trillion naira to 1.301 trillion naira, reflecting the recent federal government efforts to settle verified obligations and improve confidence among key stakeholders in the economy. DMO data further stated that it also represents a 17.1% decrease year-on-year from March 2024 to March 2025. China has lifted a ban on seafood imports from most regions of Japan, partially mending years-long dispute over Tokyo's handling of nuclear water waste. China and Japan are key trading partners, but increased friction over territorial rivalries and military spending has frayed ties in recent years. Japan's brutal occupation of parts of China before and during World War II remains a score point, with Beijing accusing Tokyo of falling to atone for its past. Asian equities mostly rose on Monday following a record-breaking day on Wall Street as investors kept tabs on country's effort to strike trade deals with the United States before a key deadline next week. And the dollar weakened on growing expectations for more interest rate cuts, while eyes were on Donald Trump's signature tax cut and bill, now edging towards a Senate vote that some experts warn could add trillions of dollars to the national debt. Officials from Japan and India have extended their stays in Washington to continue talks, raising hopes for agreement with two of the world's biggest economies. And on the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the world to ensure prompt increase in resource allocation. Guterres spoke at the opening of the United Nations Aid Conference in Spain, and United States-led cuts jeopardize the fight against poverty and climate change. Sharon Ajay reports.
Guterres told delegates that 2/3 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals set for 2030 are lagging, noting that more than $4 trillion of annual investment is needed to achieve them.
3 areas of action. First, we must get resources flowing fast. Countries must lead by mobilizing domestic resources and investing in areas of greatest impact: schools, healthcare, social protection, decent work, and renewable energy.
Will require resources at an unprecedented scale and pace. We know that there isn't enough money in government, in philanthropies, or in development institutions to meet every projection or every promise. And that's why we need the private sector.
On our path, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, spoke on the impact of unilateral tariffs and implications for global trade.
Amid unilateral tariff measures and record levels of policy uncertainty, at the WTO we have sharply downgraded our forecasts for the year. Instead of growing by 2.7%, almost 3% in 2025, we currently estimate that global merchandise trade volumes will basically be flat, growing at only 0.1%.
Dozens of world leaders and more than 4,000 representatives from businesses, civil society, and financial institutions are gathering in the city of Seville, Spain, for the June 30th to July 3rd conference to seek fresh impetus for the crisis aid sector. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
A United Nations conference aiming to rally fresh support for development aid began in Spain on Monday, with the sector in crisis as United States-led funding cuts jeopardize in fight against poverty. At least 50 world leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, KA's William Ruto, European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen, and United Nations head Antonio Guterres are gathering in the city of Seville for the June 30, July 3 meeting. Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, Ecuador's Daniel Noboa, Angolan leader João Lourenço, and Sudanese Chief Army Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has also joined more than 4,000 delegates from businesses, civil society, and financial institutions. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services has announced a significant policy change affecting refugees and asylum seekers. Effective July 3, 2025, the agency says it will only recognize legally registered civil marriages between principal refugees and asylees and their spouses when considering derivative immigration applications. This shift could have far-reaching implications for applicants from countries where customary or religious unions are common. Israel says it is interested in striking peace agreements with neighboring Lebanon and Syria, a potentially historic shift in the region after decades of war and animosity. With Syria under new leadership after the fall of longtime ruler Bashar al-Assad and Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah movement weakened, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar told journalists his government wanted more normalization agreement with Arab countries. Control of Israeli-occupied Golan Heights has long been a source of tension between Israel and Syria, which are technically still at war. Now we go to the sports news. The Nigerian women's beach volleyball team has qualified for the 2025 World Championship in Adelaide, Australia, scheduled to hold from November 14 to 23. The pair of Esther Mba and Pamela Bauer beat Egypt 2-1 to finish in third place at the just concluded African Volleyball Confederation Continental Championship in Morocco. Head coach of the team, Kayode Ajilori, told reporters that the players showed class and brilliance in delivering their jobs. Ajilori said the result in Morocco was an indication of hard work and determination from the entire team. And as Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let us take a quick look at our top stories. We told you President Bola Tinubu has called on residents of the Federal Capital Territory to take care of government infrastructure. In business, we told you President Bola Tinubu has called on residents of the Federal Capital Territory to take care of the government's infrastructure. And on the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the world to ensure prompt increase in resource allocations. In sports, we told you the Nigerian women's beach volleyball team has qualified for the 2025 World Championship in Adelaide, Australia, scheduled to hold from November 14 till November 23. And that is it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle at Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigeria app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.